All right, so we're gonna do retainers. So this is an important part of an orthodontist assistant because, you know, we have to retain our work. So we make retainers, whether they be clear or fixed. In this office, this is what we do. Typically, all other retainers, labs, offices have them sent out to labs, and the labs do them for them. But for most orthodontic offices, they fabricate their own Essix retainers, which is the clear retainers, and they also do their own fixed retainers. In this office, we bend the retainer, bond the retainer the same day as the debond appointment. I know that that's a little different than most offices, which actually impress the day prior to the debond appointment, then have the lab fabricate the permanent retainer, the fixed retainer for them. Then they just glue it in the day of. But we just do everything the same day. So it's important to get familiar with bending wires, okay? We'll go over that in just a little bit. For now, let's just focus on the Essix retainers. Just watch what I'm doing, and I'll make some comments as I go. So for Essix retainers, we do 0.4 plastic size. The 0.6 we use for medium night guards, the 0.4 we use for our regular retainer. So you'll just grab that side, the right size, because we're gonna make a retainer right now for our debond patient. We poured up the model, so watch how you pour up in that lab video that we did. All right, so how to get a good pour in that lab video. So now it's already done, and we're gonna make our retainer. So you just kind of take this, the shield off of the, all right. Just grab this little tool and get it out because some of these are a little bit harder. All right, and we're gonna let our retainer maker heat up. So you put the plastic inside of here, just like that. You lock it and push it towards the heat and lock it there. All right. And then let me just make sure it's plugged in. So then we turn on the heat element. I usually let it heat up before I put it on the actual retainer. So we're gonna let it heat up. All right. Put your model right in the center, nice and trimmed up. All right. And I hid the name there for HIPAA. And then, so we're just letting it heat up right now. So while it heats up, while we're making this one, do you guys want to try the other one, the fixed? All right, let's do that then. So the fixed retainer, while this heats up, basically is going to be on the lower for the most part. First things first, you measure the retainer. I typically have all these tools that you see here. All right, you guys are familiar with those. And the way that I measure is I basically go from canine to canine, and I see that the wire is going to need to be about this long. So I go from canine to canine, and I cut right there. All right. Then the goal with a fixed retainer is to have it as incisal as possible and not gingival, so that the patient will be able to floss and have good hygiene. You're always going to have your top of your mountain right here on the two centrals. And when I mean top of the mountain is you're literally going to bend the wire to simulate a mountain. There's our mountain. You guys see that? That's the mountain. And it's going to literally go like this. That's going to be how we're going to place it. But you see, there's a curvature right here. There's also a curvature right here. So we're going to need to bend it and curve it. So notice how I'm doing this. Come on over. So I'm going to just curve it a little bit. Just literally pressing on it to make a curve. Okay, and then I just kind of flatten it out a little. And then I'm pressing it on this side to make a curve. I'm making a curve. This curve's not as profound, so let me just make it a little bit. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make the curve of the actual teeth. So you see we're almost there. This one is almost good. I can make this one go a little down, so I will do that. I'll make that bend right now. And this one could be a little longer, so I'm actually going to slide the entire wire this way. And that looks pretty good right there. That looks almost good. I'm going to cut a little bit off. Cut a tip off because it's just a little too long. And then I'm going to, I think I needed to bend it. Wow, this is a lot. Like, yeah, you see, that's gonna be good. That's gonna be good. That's gonna be good too, actually. And then if I wanted to like make it perfect, I'd make it bend here a little bit more. Put this down just a tad and make it bend towards the tooth a little bit more. And the same thing here. And notice how I'm just grabbing my wine guard and just doing this all with my wine guard. All right, and then let's see. And I'm going really slow right now, guys. If this was an actual patient and we were busy, I'd be going faster. And then you see, too high on this side. Just let me lower it just a tad and see what happens. Yeah, too high on this side. So all you gotta do is just come here and bend it down a little. Just a tad. Same thing on this side. I'm just gonna flatten it a little bit more towards the teeth. And then let's see what we got. Good. 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 So now we got a good bent wire. So I dry it off after I measured the patient's mouth. So that took literally what? 5 minutes, and that was going really slow. Okay. Then we're going to dry the teeth with the cotton roll. Dry some with some air water. I mean, not air water, the air water thing, but you're just using air, okay, because we're drying it. So dry with the air, edge. Okay, you suction it out, all right. You would be suctioning it because this is an actual person that you're doing. I'm just doing a model, okay? All right, so then again, same process, dry really good. And air. And now we're gonna do our L pop. Here we go. I use plenty of bond. All right. Now we grab our retainer and we literally place it exactly where we want it, which is going to be right here. Right about I want it right there. Ah, nice retainer. Perfect. Now we grab our flowable, and I always take out the very beginning of it because that one's pretty much, you know, probably has been dried out and whatnot. I place my flowable and notice the amount I'm using, guys. Sorry, this is not the usual syringe that I use. The usual syringe that I use has a tip, so it comes out a lot neater. So that's the one that you guys will be using. But I just make it very nice around the tooth. Nice little bubble. Plenty of glue right there. Right there. And very, very, clean it up. Make it a bubble. Don't leave any on the incisal. And light. All right, same thing. I haven't touched this side, so I'm just gonna boop, put it right there. Okay, here we go. And this is because the same thing that I told you guys, this is not a typical. So I'm glad that you guys are seeing this, because this one's so messy and ugly. You're gonna have one that's way neater than this. But even if you mess it up and it comes out like a big blob like this, you can clean it. It's not like it's dry yet. And the objective, you can even wet your brush a little bit to kind of guide it where you want it to go. I'm just cleaning it up right now. You want it to be just a bubble, just a little bubble behind the tooth, a nice bubble, just like that. None can be on the contacts, so you don't want it in the contacts, and you don't want it in like touching the incisal edge, just right below it. Sometimes I grab my Explorer. Once I have one bonded, I grab my Explorer to really push it on there, and then I light. All right. So it shouldn't be in here or in here, in between the spaces. This is where they're going to floss in their interproximals. It's just a big circle around to keep the wire in place. A big glob, like just a big, not big, but not a little tiny bit where they can easily pop it off. Just a nice medium size blob holding the lingual wire in place. And then definitely the interproximals need to be open, okay? They need to be able to floss. All right, so then typically after some time has passed, I put some more bonding agent on these teeth because my finger has been on it. So I just want to make sure that the bond is still present. And I'm going to finish up here, guys. Perfect lingual retainer. And you check it, like put some force on it, put some pressure on it, make sure it's there. And make sure nothing is in between the interproximals. Perfect, nothing's there. Excellent retainer. All right, so now let's go back to our other retainer. That's a fixed retainer, guys. So perfect. So now let's go back to our other retainer. Our heating element is hot right now. I feel it. I'm feeling the heat, okay? Our model is perfectly positioned in there. What you're looking for is about a cup size, all right? And some places have it marked where you're supposed to drop it. So that's nice to mark it once you know kind of where your bubble should be at. But you know, I hate to say it like this, but this is the way that they taught us in school. It should be like a B-size cup, okay? I'm sorry, you know, I wish I could describe it another way, okay? But that's literally what you're looking at here. All right, my teacher in school literally taught me like that. So, and then you're going to drop it. So come over here, like get real close, get in here and see what I'm looking at here. I'm gonna wait until the line gets about probably up to right here. Right here, we're looking at a B-size cup. All right, but your machine, no matter what machine it is, the plastic has to be melted to a B-size cup, and it's gonna go quick here, so pay attention. It only has 3 selections. Now, if your office uses a fancy machine, I know 2 of our offices use fancy machines, and if your office uses a fancy machine, then please follow the instructions posted on the wall for how to use that machine. How to use this machine is very simple. That's why we don't have instructions for it. Literally, there's a heating element, there's the off button, and there's which suctions the actual plastic to the model, okay? Now this is all suction. This is going to be a perfect retainer. We are going to trim it out. You know, I could have even let it go a little bit more, just more than a, you know, like a true C cup, like an almost C cup, I should say, like a B-ish, C-ish cup, you know, be more tighter. But typically B cup is where you want to be. All right. Just like a nice bubble, I know. I wish I could describe it another way. All right. Okay, always have a fulcrum. All right, so notice my fulcrum so that I have stability. Right? Like about a millimeter above the gingiva line. That's all you need. We cut to about 3 quarters of the 7 molars. That's what our office does. Just make sure it's cut all the way. And you turn that off. All right. You can grab a lab knife and just gently remove the plastic retainer from the model. All right. Just like that. So that's a perfect retainer right there. Just cut about 1 millimeter above the gingiva all the way around. All right. Now, as you can see, it's rusty. And so it needs to be buffed. All right. Just going to grab a new buffer. Right. Now we turn it on. And literally same thing. Now you're just going around and making sure that the plastic is smooth. Notice my fulcrum. You see that? The objective is just to make sure that everything is nice and smooth. And then after, you just make sure everything's smooth all around. Nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. Nice and smooth all the way around. Perfect retainer.